Brands Hatch. We're here in the UK and it's the 7th race weekend of the DTM season. And this is the shortest circuit in the calendar of the DTM, and it certainly is very challenging. Here are the highlights of the weekend. Enjoy.
Yeah, thanks very much, Verena. The 5th time that the DTM has run here at Brands Hatch. Again on the short 1.3 mile, 1.9 kilometre Indy Speed Bowl, and a very sizable crowd turning up to see the action. Mercedes-Benz against Audi, of course. And this season, it's been mainly about Mercedes. This is round 7. The score, Mercedes 5 and Audi just the 1. In previous races at Brands Hatch, well, it's been shared pretty equally between the two marks. Cars out for their practice and qualifying session. That is the Red Bull car of Matthias Ekstrom. Timo Scheider there trying to find a place to sign the hat. Fans getting excellent access to the drivers, of course, always in the DTM. So let's check out the track. Of course, the only one in Great Britain to host the DTM in the past 5 years. We've seen it in the past, of course, at Donington. And always very challenging around here. Paddock Hill Bend, one of the best corners in motor racing. And it might only be short, but it can catch out the unwary, and very difficult to overtake round Brands Hatch. Pulled Resta there last year, the winner.
Brands is a different circuit because it's the shortest one on the calendar. The lap time is really short, and there's no real straights. So from the driving point of view, it's quite physical because you don't have any rest time throughout the whole race.
It's safe to say that qualifying is the critical factor at Brands Hatch because there's very little chance of overtaking. Basically, you can't overtake someone who's even only 3 or 4 tenths of a second quicker than you.
At Brands Hatch, you need to be really fast, and but also you need some luck because obviously we have almost 20 cars on the grid to do the qualify, and sometimes you need some luck to have a good gap and to do a good lap time, not to get traffic in the qualify lap.
Brands Hatch is one of the best corners of any racetrack in the world. Paddock Hill Bend. You enter it over a blind crest, and as you turn in, you're unable to see the apex curb, but then you suddenly drop steep downhill, and the feeling you get when the first lap in a race car there is something that very few racetracks can really give you that feeling.
So it's tricky, definitely, and in a DTM car we've got a lot of downforce, so you can carry a surprising amount of speed there, and it's a challenging corner.
There are 2 or 3 really slow corners, turn 2 and 3, and the last turn, clearways. You need lots of physical, mechanical grip there. There's also hardly anything you can call a straight to let the tyres cool down a bit. It's not a problem with a good setup, but it's easy to overheat the tyres in the closing laps of the race. You can really ruin an otherwise decent lap on that last corner, which I find the hardest here. You could have driven an absolutely superb lap to the last bend, but due to its adverse camber on the entry, it's very difficult. So, out of 10?
I'd still give it a difficulty rating of 7.
Ich würde sagen 7.
7.
Ich würde sagen, das ist eine 5.
I'll give it 5.
8.
Brands Hatch ist für mich 6 oder 7 von Schwierigkeitsgrad.
And the average, well, 6.7. As I said at the beginning, the first DTM race was 5 years ago. We can look back now to the race in 2007. Lots of young fans on hand, a very nice day indeed. And the big story as the Union Jacks flew was a pole position for Mika Hakkinen, fresh out of Grand Prix racing. Matthias Ekstrom, who was heading for the championship that year, would start from position 4 on the grid. Grandstands were full at the start. Watch Häkkinen didn't get away that brilliantly, and it was the man alongside him, Bruno Spengler, who blasted into Paddock Hill Bend first. It was Spengler's second year as a Mercedes Works driver. There he is, still runs the same silver and blue colours today. Bernd Schneider was the reigning champion and had won his fifth and last DTM crown in 2006. But was not having a good year. Cars were in the gravel early on, as you can see. Paul de Resta involved in that. On board with Paul de Resta, this is what he saw, and basically got taken out. Good pit stop for Bernd Schneider, and certainly adopted a very good strategy indeed. Martin Tomczyk and Matthias Ekstrom are running strongly, and a bit of a problem getting off the pit lane for the French-Canadian, but look at Bernd Schneider. This was to be Bernd Schneider's penultimate victory in his long and hugely successful DTM career. So victory then for Bernd Schneider from the Audis of Tomczyk and Ekstrom. Häkkinen came home in fourth place, but it certainly had been a very good day for the master, Bernd Schneider.
After when Ekstrom came out of pit behind me, I thought, okay, now it's going to be tough 30 laps. It was really hard to defend, but after 10 laps, I thought there's a possibility, because then his tires was already a bit down, and I know I have to do no mistake. Then it's possible, and it was possible. The car was perfect today.
Yeah, so a very good race weekend it was back then in 2007 for Bernd Schneider. But let's come forward then to this week's racing. Qualifying absolutely dominated by the tall young man from Scotland. Fastest in Q1, 2, 3 and 4, despite that little error. He put a smile on Norbert Haug's face.
Been a good weekend up until now. Thankfully we're able to stay at the top during all 4 segments of qualifying, and the performance has been great. Tomorrow hopefully we can repeat that.
Fellow Scot David Coulthard was less satisfied, again finishing in the bottom half of the field. Here's David in the yellow Mercedes.
I felt confident, I was gaining performance. The second part, both my sets of tyres were terrible for balance.
David would start in 14th place on the grid. Matthias Ekstrom going well in his A4, but the best he could do was P6.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit disappointing. I mean, I made no mistakes, so not because of that, but we were just simply a little bit too slow.
Zandvoort winner Gary Paffett would start in 5th spot.
Obviously a little bit disappointed. I mean, it's not a disaster, but you know, I would have liked to have been on the first 2 rows, first row, but 5th place is on the right side for the start.
In 4th place on the grid was Ralf Schumacher, going well again in the Mercedes, and 1 spot ahead of him was Timo Scheider.
I'm quite happy with my performance today, especially after Zandvoort. I showed the first time this season that my quality performance is back again, and that was my target to show it again right here in Brands.
And Bruno Spengler was on the front row of the grid, 2nd fastest for the Canadian.
Generally, especially first sector, I have to improve my first sector quite a lot, and which I did in qualifying, not enough still. Still have to work on it together with my team and try to find the best setup tomorrow for the race.
So there is the lineup then. Paul de Resta on the pole alongside Bruno Spengler, Timo Scheider and Ralf Schumacher. Gary Paffett Matthias Ekstrom. Oliver Jarvis qualified 7th ahead of Miguel Magic Molina and Jamie Green, Martin Tomczyk, Pramat, Engel, Rockenfeller, Coulthard, Legg, Stoddart, Cheng and Winkelhock. 18 starters. Now here's a good shot from Gary Paffett's car briefly, and there 3 men still in the championship hunt. Well, Gary Paffett came to Brands Hatch after a fantastic victory at Zandvoort, and he sat down with Verena Wright.
So here I am now with Gary Paffett, the winner of Zandvoort. And now, of course, I'm wondering, we're here in England after the qualifying. It's time for tea time. And you British folks are very particular about your tea. What are you having?
I have a black tea. Unfortunately, it's not one of my English PG Tips tea bags, but it will do for now.
Hold on, usually you bring your own tea bags?
Yeah. So certainly Paul de Resta has a bag of tea bags in the track at all times. So it's very important to have a nice English tea.
Now, Gary, you seem very relaxed, even though you're starting from P5 in the race?
Probably not, no, but I'll think about that tomorrow. At the moment, P5 wasn't too bad. It wasn't what I wanted, Bruno and Paul are on the front row, so it's not great, but it's not a disaster. P5 is still good. I still hope to be able to get on the podium from there, so let's see, it's not a disaster, should we say.
And what can we expect from you in the race? After all, it's a very challenging circuit.
There's not much chance to overtake here, really. I overtook Tom Christensen last year, but it's very difficult to overtake here. So, we have to get past them somehow. Hopefully we can make a good start and then try and leave it up to the strategy. The strategy is really important because because it's such a short circuit, when you come out after a pit stop, you could be in a lot of traffic and lose a lot of lap time. So it's really important for the team to see where the other cars are and where you're going to come out after your pit stop, because that can make or break your race, really. So it's a really interesting race. Yeah, there's no real safe way of doing things, I wouldn't say, around here.
It's your home gig and your family and your kids are here. Does that mean the pressure is on, that perhaps you want to impress them and win here in Brands Hatch for the very first time?
No, I want to win, all the time, and I'd love to win here in front of everybody, in front of the home crowd, just because it'd be amazing to give them something to cheer about, But I try my hardest to win every race, so I'm not doing anything special this weekend. So it'd be great to get a good result and get on the podium in my home race. But if I don't, I don't. That's the way things go sometimes.
All right. Well, best of luck. Looking forward to an exciting race.
And after the interview, tea for 2, 1 with milk. And here's a couple of old mates together, Martin Brundle and David Coulthard. Martin would try the DTM car.
To be honest, that was a lot of pressure at a DTM event with David Coulthard sitting beside me. Never been in the car in my life. Cold tyres, cold brakes. This track is so small and so technical. That's quite a lot of pressure, a lot to ask.
Well, how did Martin Brundle get on? Former Le Mans winner in the DTM taxi. Well, Martin certainly knows this track well, works together, of course, with David on Grand Prix telecasts.
Driven each other in some two-seater Formula 1 cars in the past, so I trust Martin. He's got a lot of experience. When you go out, cold car, you don't know the car, you switch it on and, where is everything? So it takes more than the few laps he's done to get settled.
And a final thought from Martin Brundle.
Just listening to David, we often travel together we work for BBC in F1, and he's always so enthusiastic, and it's really got me going and given me the bug again.
Yeah, and Martin was actually racing at Brands Hatch in the Volkswagen Sirocco Cup. Round 7 of the DTM at Brands Hatch, a crowd of well over 20,000 there to see Paul de Resta start from his pole position, and on hand his manager Anthony Hamilton. Paul just getting ready before the start. There is Anthony talking with Mark Blundell, who was also racing in that VW Sirocco Cup race. Championship leader, of course, still Bruno Spengler. Spengler about to climb into the car. 44 points on the board, 9 more than Gary Paffett.
And I'm here with Timo Scheider, who is starting from P3. Very, very challenging circuit, obviously. Where can you go from P3?
Well, my target is straight away into first corner to catch at least Bruno. For sure, that's a tough work, but that's my aim, definitely. But we will have a tough 98 laps, and we try to survive.
And also the weather, obviously, is very shaky. Are you worried about that?
Not so far. I hope it stays dry for the spectators. For us, would be nice as well. But first of all, we have to manage the normal dry conditions. Afterwards, we will see.
All right, thank you very much. Best of luck. Looking forward to a very exciting race.
Yes, let's look at the virtual grid here. On pole position, Paul di Resta looking for his first win of the year alongside the championship leader, Bruno Spengler. On row 2, certainly back to form, Timo Scheider, and Ralf Schumacher, an excellent 4th qualifying spot. Then in 5th, Gary Paffett, alongside him, Matthias Ekstrom. Oliver Jarvis in a 7th spot for Audi, with Miguel Molina in the best of the older series cars. Jamie Green in 9th place, already a win on the board this year, and Martin Tomczyk. Alexandra Premat from France, with Maro Engel of Germany alongside him. He knows brands well. Then Le Mans winner Mike Rockenfeller and David Coulthard. Catherine Legg, the faster of the 2 ladies in qualifying, just ahead of Susie Stoddart. Then the Chinese driver Frankie Cheng and Marcus Winkelhoff at the back. So the mechanics leaving the grid for this 98-lap race. Should last just about 70 minutes. Lights are out, it's go, go, go! And an excellent start from Paul di Resta. Just looking who didn't make such a good start. One of them was definitely Schumacher. He drops back, but it's di Resta in the lead into Druids. Spengler in 2nd place. All clean through paddock. Looks as if they're all clean through Druids as well. Sweeping down the hill on this recently resurfaced track. Not as bumpy as it was, but very slippery indeed. With this new surface, some of the oil still seeping out of the new tarmac. Just look at Paul di Resta. He's got 6-7 car lengths. Tremendous out of the box there. So into the lead, it's Paul di Resta. Dominated practice and qualifying. Spengler, Scheider, Paffett. Molina still in 9th, Tomczyk 10th. David Coulthard made up a couple of spots at the beginning. Cheng at the back. There's Coulthard in the yellow car, trying to get down the inside. Of course, the track switches back. Sparks flying from the cars. Set as low as possible to get the maximum aero effect. And then the long right-hander clearways. Another very quick lap. And problems there for the Audi of Ekstrom going slowly. I think maybe he's been hit already. There might have been a collision with Ekstrom. He's certainly going slowly now. Drops behind Maro Engel. And off he goes. Must have something damaged to the suspension, I think. Yeah, you can see some damage at the back. Hearing reports that he may have been hit by another car, and that's damaged the rear suspension. Gravel flying off everywhere. Oh, look at that right wheel. The rear suspension is broken. Let's see what happens here. Whoa! Right into him goes Susie Stoddart. Nothing she could do. He was going so slowly, but I think there'd been a prior incident to that. And Catherine Legg also had to go wide. But that is the end of the day for Ekstrom. He will just limp it back into the pits to retire. So, big disappointment there. We see that's the incident with Ralf Schumacher. And the Audi mechanics not happy about that. All working for the App Sport organisation. There is David Coulthard. And David with a bit of clear track. In fact, he's just served a drive-through penalty after a jump start. Watch this, watch the yellow car, goes about a second before everybody else, just anticipated it too early, and David's still on that DTM learning curve. There he goes. And he knew for sure that he would get a penalty for that. In the pits, the Susie Stoddart car. Obviously made quite hard contact with the Audi A4. Look at all the fiberglass flying. We're going to hear now from Susie.
Now it's your home gig here. How disappointing is that, and what exactly happened that you hit Eki?
Yeah, I think Ekstrom had a problem with his car. He was slowing down and he came in front of me to take paddock, and he braked in the middle of the corner because he obviously had a problem and I had absolutely nowhere to go, and it's very unfortunate.
Especially here in Brands Hatch.
Yeah, and I had made a good start and was in a good position. I think anyway his race was over because his car was damaged, so yeah, it would have been better if he stayed out of the way, but it's a racing incident and unfortunately my day is over.
Thank you very much, Susie Stoddart.
So 20 laps into the race now. Paul de Resta absolutely powering away from the rest of the field. Behind him, a good battle for second place. Spengler, Scheider and Gary Paffett there. You see the three of them on screen now. Pit stop window is from lap 24 to lap 74. 2 mandatory pit stops, of course. Nice slow-mo shots. There's Paul de Resta. He's pulled well away from the rest of the field, almost 7 or 8 seconds now. Jamie Green going through our picture. Rockefeller. First of the pit stops. Timo Scheider in and out, dispatched very quickly by the app team. And he rejoins there in front of Gary Paffett. Paffett gets really close behind, but so difficult to overtake here. Brands Hatch looks down the inside, no way. On board with Paffett. Paffett on a charge, would so much like to do well here at Brands Hatch. Very much his home circuit. Born just down the road in Bromley as Jarvis makes a pit stop. Remember, Paffett has never won here at Brands. De Resta won last year. De Resta in the lead. Jarvis supported by all his family this weekend, as are most of the British drivers. And Jarvis released just together with Martin Tomczyk, who's coming through. And will Tomczyk get by up at Druids? Jarvis holds him back, both in the latest specification Audis. Pit stop for Ralf Schumacher. And he's had a bit of an off-course excursion, I think. Still this battle between Jarvis and Tomczyk. Pramat going well behind them. And here, Schumacher coming back in front of Jarvis. Ollie Jarvis now bases himself out in Switzerland, along with several of the other Audi drivers, by Lake Constance, but originally from East Anglia. Had a good single-seater career going before Audi called. Very successful out in the Japanese Formula 3 Championship. Pit stop there for Jamie Green. Jamie just hasn't quite got the right setup today. And there he is. Came out and is almost a lap behind Paul de Resta. Paul yet to make his first pit stop. And who was that out in the gravel? Oh, Ralf Schumacher. And yeah, definitely something wrong with Schumacher's car. Not sure if it's caused by that incident or an earlier one. There's Jamie Green about to pass. Spengler makes his pit stop in a magnificent 3.1 seconds, just fractions of a stopwatch click, and he's out again on track. Still a lot of gravel flying around there is Spengler, and Scheider really trying hard to get by. This is the battle for second place. Remember, Scheider goes for the inside. Very difficult to make that stick there. Maybe at the next one. Scheider again just has a little look, and Spengler hanging on at a track that he says he doesn't like. Puts it well at the bottom of his list of favourite tracks. There's the French-Canadian, only off the podium this season at the last race at Zandvoort. Took a bit of a dip there. Oh dear, Ralf Schumacher is a retirement. That was what caused it, I think, into the gravel. See it from the onboard camera. And the lens in front of the camera is shattered. Finally, Paul di Resta, lap 33. Paul di Resta comes in for his pit stop. Some of his pit stops this season have been a little bit iffy, but that was a quick one. So Paul di Resta continues to lead here at Brands Hatch. So the 7th round of the DTM at Brands Hatch. Paul di Resta comes out. He has led this race from the beginning. Of course, a few of the drivers yet to make some pit stops. So on our chart, Molina showed in the lead from Engel. But of those that have made the pit stop, it is, of course, Paul di Resta at the front. Currently shown in 3rd place. Ralf Schumacher describing what happened to him. Says goodbye to Norbert Haug. See you in 2 weeks' time at Oschersleben. There is Gary Paffett. Just lost touch a little bit, I feel, from the Audi. The Salzgitter Steel back car of Gary Paffett there in 4th place, and just losing touch. The other two still battling for 2nd place. There's Gary, father of 3 sons. I'm sure they'll move into racing, or at least 1 or 2 of them. Not sure what Gary's wife Lisa thinks of that. So 0.7 of a second-ish between Spengler and Scheider. Scheider, of course, struggled at the early part of the season, just couldn't get his head around the new tyres, working with a new engineer and data engineer. It's taken him a little while to get back in the groove. The man who won the championship last year and won it the year before, the most experienced driver in the whole of the DTM. There is Cheng and Coulthard running together, battling it out for 12th place. And 2nd pit stop for Gary Paffett, short middle stint. First of the top runners to make a 2nd pit stop. 3.6 seconds. Good shot of the Dunlop tyre, the new tyre for 2010. Everybody running on the same rubber, of course. And Paffett is going to come out behind Catherine Legg. As you see, quite a lot of marbles and bits of rubber and gravel on the edge of the track. Difficult if you go offline. Jarvis still there ahead of Tomczyk. And here is a replay of the Paffett pit stop from that most unusual angle. So quick with that. And out onto the Brands pit lane. Difficult exit, feeds the cars out right into Paddock Hill Bend. And Paffett there about to lap Catherine Legg. Timo Scheider from 2nd place comes in. needs to have a smart pit stop here, a swift stop. All the boys bent over ready. Where will he come out? Will he maintain that second place? There he goes. Here is Paffett coming round, and can he get out in front of Paffett? There's the black car on your left. Winkelhock goes through near the back of the field, and there he is, well in front of Paffett. David Coulthard goes through, and Coulthard currently in 9th place, yet to make his second stop. Spengler, the next one in for his second stop. Where's he going? Is he going to come out ahead of Scheider? This is crucial here. Scheider coming now. The Mercedes was just in front of the Audi before. It could be very close indeed. It's Winkelhock going through, but no. There is Scheider. He's still got the speed. He'll close up on him, but Winkelhock throws up a dust cloud and lets Scheider go through. And so the order remains. In the lead, Paul de Resta. At the moment, Molina is shown as second, yet to make that second stop. But effectively, Scheider is second, ahead of Gary Paffett. Once all the second pit stops are over, as Winkelhock and Coulthard come in together. And they were battling for position, so perhaps David can jump him here. This was Bruno Spengler going through, and well, Winkelhock just gave him a bit too much room and went wide, didn't he? Just being the gentleman there, man who's had just a horrible season. And there's the newer Audi going through of Timo Scheider. So, third place, Timo Scheider. Looks as if he's been on the podium again. Of course, Audi have lost one of their main men in Matthias Ekstrom early on. Here's Rockenfeller. Mike Rockenfeller, who won Le Mans in the Audi R15 with Romain Dumas and Timo Bernard. Audi will be back in Britain a week after Brands Hatch at Silverstone for the sports car race. They'll be running an R15 there, the first round of the new 3-round Le Mans Intercontinental Cup. Audi very much gunning for that against Peugeot, but here their opposition is Mercedes-Benz, and Mercedes dominating the DTM this year. It's most unusual for one manufacturer to dominate the DTM. Usually it's pretty even Stevens between the two. Next year we're hearing BMW, we thought would be coming in 2012. I'm now getting word that they should be in the series for 2011, and their motorsport boss, Dr. Mario Tyson, already talking to drivers and engineers and waving some contracts around, I understand. So that will make the DTM a little bit livelier as Rockenfeller comes in. Not that it isn't lively at the moment with just two manufacturers. Rockenfeller back on track. There is Alexandre Pamat. Rocky was in 7th, but he dropped down, and Pamat just gets in front of him, both in similar spec cars. The rest are still on his merry way, just slacking his pace off a little bit now. Got to about 12 seconds in the lead now, just tapped off that little bit, back to about 8 or 9 seconds lead, which is a lot in DTM terms, as Jamie Green makes stop number 2. Rockenfeller and Pamat, of course, both racing for Team Phoenix, one of the Audi satellite teams, as Paul de Resta is in. The leader here takes his second set of tyres, 20 litres of fuel, blasts it out of the pits on the rev limiter, or the pit speed limiter. And then he'll go back into the race, clearly in the lead. No question of doubt about that. He comes in between David Coulthard and there's Frankie Cheng, who has raced a lot at Brands Hatch in his single-seater days, racing in Britain. Chinese driver from Beijing. Kong Fu Cheng, to give him his proper Mandarin name. But there is Resta back up to speed. Last time he won a DTM race was a year ago here at Brands Hatch. Had some frustrations earlier in the year, but making a strong challenge in the second half of the season. Mercedes-Benz boss Norbert Haug says that the top Mercedes runners are allowed to race each other. He says absolutely there are no team tactics, and he looked us straight in the eye when he told us that, which he doesn't always do. And there up on the pit wall is a disappointed Matthias Ekstrom. This was the incident which started it all when Ralf Schumacher tagged him. Let's hear from him now.
Now, obviously, Ralf Schumacher hit you, but no need to investigate him. Does that make you even more angry about that?
No, I mean, if you watch our whole season, I can joke about it now, but actually I'm pretty upset because it happened several times that I'm on the short end of the deal, coming out with a crashed car and no points, and you look, there's no penalties, and then the race control say it's racing accident. That's how they see it, but when one guy touches another guy, one guy retires, the next one continue, there must be a penalty. So I think Ralf was too aggressive up to turn 1. I was clearly in front of him and he drove into my rear left and then bent something, and then later on it broke. So I mean, the cars are not made for stock car racing, they're made like Formula cars, but you can say whatever you want. Everybody knows that you have to be a bit more sensitive.
Here at Brands Hatch, round 7 of the DTM. Paul de Resta continues in the lead. Good battle here for P6. Martin Tomczyk has been trying virtually the whole race to get past Oliver Jarvis in the Tabac car, but without success. Miguel Molina currently in the lead of the race, only by dint of not making his second pit stop. Effectively, our leader is Paul de Resta from Spengler and Scheider. Molina will have to pit soon. There he goes past the pits again, getting his moments of glory in the Audi Bank car. Close to the end of the pit window, so he'll be going in soon. And Molina coming off a very good race at Zandvoort. The Spaniard who raced last year in World Series by Renault won a shootout for this Audi drive in the winter and has not disappointed Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich. Completely different tactics to anyone else. This car is not run by one of the satellite teams, actually run by the APT organisation, their 5th car, and it comes in. It is one of the 08 rather than 09 models. Doesn't have quite such a good aero package, but it does run 25 kilos lighter, and occasionally we get the older cars winning, as happened at the Norris Ring last year with Jamie Green. In the past, remember Gary Paffett, who comes to us now, winning in a year-old car as well. Currently the DTM regulations frozen, of course. They were frozen last September, and the teams cannot make any modifications at all, just some slight adjustments. Molina drops back then into a 4th place. That different strategy has worked very well, but it's Paul de Resta still with a sizable lead from Spengler and Timo Scheider. Past the Brands Hatch pits again this race where there's little time for relaxation, hardly a straight here at Brands Hatch. Good shots from Gary Paffett's car. Paffett now back in 5th place behind Molina. Here's a shot of Paffett. And Paffett kicking up the gravel. Not quite inch perfect there. Gary, who knows this track so very well. But it's looking very good for Paul de Resta at Zandvoort. Paffett definitely had a bit of speed over Paul de Resta, made a good start and led Paul home to 2nd place. So Paul's last 2 races have yielded 2nd places. Just last couple of laps now. Paul de Resta so dominant here at Brands Hatch. This is a weekend he'll certainly remember. Gary Paffett crossing the line for the last time. Catherine Lake just a lap behind him. I think she'll finish in 14th place yet again. Seems to be a regular finishing spot. But here is de Resta, the Force India Formula One test driver, on his way to his first victory of the year, but one that really will springboard his chance to take the title here. And he crosses the line to shake the checkered flag with Bruno Spengler a long way behind in 2nd place. Here's Spengler coming now. And then Timo Scheider and Molina. Great race by the young Spaniard. Then Gary Paffett, he'll be a little disappointed. That then is the top 5. And the rest of the field coming home. Paul de Resta, the winner there in 1 hour, 10 minutes and 5 seconds at Brands Hatch. David Coulthard finishes. P1 Cool.
What a fantastic race that was for Mercedes-Benz. Norbert Haug, that's absolutely brilliant. I guess it's kind of what you were hoping for and what you were expecting.
Yeah, it still was a very long race, but Paul was in a glass of his own. Really great job. Nobody had a chance. Well done, Paul. Very good.
Somewhat hoarse boss of Mercedes there. Confirmation of the result. De Resta from Spengler, Scheider, Molina, Paffett, Jarvis, Tomczyk. And going through the field, David Coulthard coming home in 12th place.
Yep, and here I'm now with Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich. Now the race obviously was not that fantastic for Audi. However, Timo Scheider did keep up. He's in 3rd position. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, this is the good point on it. The bad one was that Matthias was out of the race very soon. And with having no points again, I think that's a very bad situation for him in the championship. What I'm really happy about is that Miguel Molina showed that the pace is there and that he is really a great talent and he was doing a perfect race. So we have the speed if all the things work together. Now, for sure, Timo showed again that he is back again. And whatever we can do to push the guys and make them even a little bit quicker, we will do.
But also a little glimpse on the future regarding the championship. The battle, of course, is that Timo and Eki are 23 and 24 points behind Mercedes-Benz now.
Yeah, it's for sure not better than the race before. And it's really bad for Eki because it was for sure not his fault what happened today. On the other hand, there were still some more points to find than what they are back. So giving up is no way to think about. We fight.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ulrich.
Talking of points, here's the championship. Spengler came here with a 9-point lead over Gary Paffett. Now he has a 9-point lead over Paul de Resta.
And here I am now with Paul de Resta. Now you certainly dominated Brands Hatch the whole weekend. Congratulations. You must be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, it's great. Yesterday the car was fantastic. Today it was the same again. The team have worked so hard this weekend. We've came here prepared the best and we've got the job done. So it's nice to come here on home soil, a lot of friends and family around like last year, and take the win and certainly close the gap to the top of the championship and keep the title open.
So Paul de Resta, the master of Brands Hatch.
Here I am with Bruno Spengler. What a fantastic race. 2nd place for you, but also that means, of course, with 52 points, you're way ahead in the battle for the title.
Well, I'm very, very happy today of that race because Brands Hatch is one track that doesn't suit me at all, and I worked very hard during the years to improve on this track. Struggled a lot on the first sector, but we improved the car a lot also with my team for the race today. Really, my team did a great job improving the car. I could drive consistently. Maybe I wasn't the quickest. Paul was very good. For sure, it's his track. He was very, very quick the whole weekend, but I could drive consistently, and this was the key of the race today, to stay in front and to make no mistakes and be quick enough. So I'm really happy today.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Bruno.
And there they are on the podium. All the bubbly will spray. But there's one man we haven't heard from yet. He's Timo Scheider from third place, talking with Verena Breit.
And here is Timo Scheider, who started in P3 and ended in third place. Are you happy with that?
Well, I think it was definitely my target to be on the podium again. But for sure I tried to catch the others. But Bruno was a bit slow in the beginning, and Paul was in his own world driving in the first couple of laps. That was amazing. Congratulations to Mercedes. They have done a great job, no question. But in the end, the gap was a bit too big, to be honest. But yeah, a positive feeling for my own, just to be back again on the podium. And we have to focus on the future and on the last races.
And speaking of the last races, 4 more to go, and also speaking of the gap, you're 23 points behind Spengler. Do you still have hope there for the next races?
Well, I'm looking from race to race. 23 points is quite a huge gap, no question. I know how hard DTM is. We try our best. We focus on the last couple of races, like I said, and we have to see if something is able.
Well, what will happen in 2 weeks' time at Oschersleben? Well, we'll be finding that out. There is Bruno Spengler congratulating Paul de Resta, the two teammates together. A final word from Verena.
Now I kind of know what it feels like for Paul de Resta to be standing up on the podium. Very well deserved, because he certainly clearly dominated this race, but also Bruno Spengler and Timo Scheider deserve to be up here on the podium. Now I hope you enjoyed the highlights, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks in Oschersleben, Germany. Until then, bye-bye.
Yes, it's goodbye from Verena, and also goodbye from me, Andrew Marriott, in the commentary box. And we're going to leave you with some of the best images from a race which was dominated by a tall young man from Scotland, Paul de Resta, winning at Brands Hatch for a second year in a row. But for now, it's so long.
My football match. And you're the